Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 9, so if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, are you thinking of playing your wildcard draft this week, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's go over the goalkeeper and the defenders. So, in goal, we do have Raya and Ward. I still think that Raya is a good option. He has actually gone up to 5.7 mil now. Not been great the last few weeks, very understandably frustrating, everything like that. But as soon as those fixtures change, you are going to want a couple of Arsenal players in your team. And I just think Raya is a great set and forget for the remainder of the season. Again, understandably annoying how bad he's been lately. Not even that he's how bad he's been. He's not really made any mistakes or anything. It's just Arsenal in general have just been not at the races. They've just not been as good as they were last season, especially defensively. Obviously, they've had injuries, red cards, suspensions, all that stuff. So it's not really gone for them in that situation. But at the end of the day, I think they will still come good. Obviously, they do have Liverpool and Newcastle and Chelsea and stuff coming up. And if you did want to go for a different goalkeeper and then just kind of bring Raya in later on down the line, that's still all right. But there's just not really any of the goalkeepers that are just jumping right out at me at the moment. Like, obviously, you could go Alisson, but he's injured, so you'd have to go Kelleher. But then, do you really want to use a transfer for that later on in the season? You could go Edison, but City just keep conceding goals as well. And apart from that, there's not really any other like huge options. I understand that Flecken has probably got the best fixtures and is very, very cheap. But Brentford haven't even kept a clean sheet this season. And their numbers are just really bad. Like, he's making a lot of saves, which is fair enough, but their defensive numbers are just really, really bad. So there's not really anywhere else that I'd want to go. And I think if you bring Raya in, you just don't have to worry about him for the rest of the season. And I think that's just kind of one of the biggest sort of positives in my opinion. But if you did want to save a bit of money, or you can't make enough money to obviously make this draft, I've got 0.2 mil in the bank, but you know, your budget might be a little bit smaller than mine, then yeah, obviously you go Flecken or something instead. It's just, I think when those Arsenal fixtures change, I think a lot of people will want to bring in some Arsenal defenders, because obviously game week 12 onwards, it changes really, really well. They've obviously got Forest, West Ham, United, Fulham, Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Brentford, Brighton. Like, there's just really, really good fixtures here, especially from a defensive standpoint. And they're getting a lot of their bad fixtures out of the way now as well. So, I don't know. Personally, I still think he's a good option. I completely understand if people would want to go somewhere else. Like, there's maybe like a Martinez or potentially a Pickford or something like that that you could also go to. And they're obviously a little bit cheaper. So, yeah, I mean, again, it is what it is. Just personal preference at this point. The goalkeeper's quite a difficult spot to kind of choose this season, because there's not really any out-and-out, like, perfect picks. I mean, you could even go Sanchez from Chelsea, but obviously their fixtures don't really pick up until game week 12 either. So, like I say, there are options, but it's just whichever one kind of you want the most. But if you did want to get rid of, Raya and bring in like a, I don't know, a Martinez or something like that from Villa, I mean, their fixtures aren't necessarily great. Obviously, they've got Bournemouth this week, but then they've got Spurs, Liverpool, and Chelsea all away fixtures as well. So I probably wouldn't go with Martinez. Like I say, it's all personal preference at the end of the day. I think Raya is still a great option. I mean, Newcastle isn't like... it's not the worst fixture in the world. And then Chelsea, again, not the worst fixture in the world. And then after that, they've got really good fixtures. So I just think you should just kind of plan ahead and just have like I don't know, at least one Arsenal defender in the team going into those fixtures later on down the line. But either way, Raya is in goal. Also got Ward in goal as well. Forest at home, again, not going to be playing any kind of 4 mil goalkeepers this season. None of them are luckily playing the fixtures, which is, again, would have been great like we did last season. We had a couple, but yeah, this season it's not that situation. So yeah, Raya and Ward in goal. And then at the back, we've got Aït-Nouri, Mykolenko, Gvardiol, Vandenberg, and also Milenkovic as well. So yeah, the defense is relatively cheap, but I think it's like, it's a pretty solid defense. You've got a Forest defender in there. Again, could be Aina, could be Milenkovic. I prefer Milenkovic just from set pieces. Forest take a lot of long throw-ins, and Milenkovic is always in the box. Obviously on corners, stuff like that. On free kick set pieces, they try and find Milenkovic. He's just a focal point for set pieces, and I just really, really like that, and I think it will come good. Plus, Forest, one of the best defenses in the league as well, which is a great thing as a Forest fan. But I just really like the kind of presence that he has in the box and stuff. So that's why I've gone Milenkovic. Vandenberg is probably the best 4 mil defender to own at the moment. He obviously didn't start the season, but recently has played like 90 every single fixture, barring obviously a United fixture with 86 minutes. But like I say, from a defensive standpoint, Brentford have been really, really bad. Not been ideal at all. And again, he's not going to be someone you play every week, but you could play him this week. He's got Ipswich at home, you could play him Bournemouth at home, you've got Everton away coming up, Leicester at home, stuff like that. So you could easily play him in any of the next 5 fixtures, but if you didn't want to play him, completely understand. And I don't think he's going to lose his spot. They seemingly have changed the way they're playing. And again, he could lose his spot at any point. He's a 4-mil goal. He's a 4-mil defender, so you're taking that gamble. But he's played a lot of minutes recently. So I think with like Greaves injured and Twanzebe injured and stuff like that, I think he's probably just the best 4-mil defender to have. Also gone Gvardiol as well. He's currently sitting at 6.1. Obviously, that Southampton at home fixture is really nice. They've got Bournemouth and Brighton coming up. Again, Spurs and Liverpool on the horizon as well. But I mean, Gvardiol is just he's probably one of the best defenders to own this season. He's the only one that seemingly is scoring goals. No other defenders really are to his extent. And again, City defense hasn't been ideal, but I think he's much better than Rico Lewis just because he's just a lot more attacking. He's safer as well. He's a lot more expensive, which is fair enough. So if you wanted to go Rico Lewis instead of Gvardiol and have that kind of money elsewhere, then fair enough. But I just really like Gvardiol as an option. Mikolenko also makes the team 4.3 mil. Really, really nice option as well. Again, a little bit injury prone, but with the fixtures that Everton have got coming up, like they've got Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford. You know, Southampton and West Ham not been great at all this season. I know they're both away fixtures, but you'd still like to think he might pick up something in those fixtures. But yeah, I just really, really like him as an option, really. I mean, Keane obviously is cheaper, but when Branthwaite comes back, he's going to lose his spot again. So that's why I've got Mikolenko instead. He's only like a couple mil more anyway. He's 4.3 mil, so not bad at all. And then 8 Nori, 4.4 mil. Again, I know the Wolves haven't been ideal this season, but they have had a pretty rough fixture run. A little bit unlucky against City, in my opinion. And they've got Crystal Palace, Southampton coming up, which again, 2 of the worst performing teams in the season. Worst performing teams across the season so far. So I do like 8 Nori as an option, and he's getting so forward as well. He's playing like a left wing at times. So I think he's going to be a little bit of a gem going under the radar. But that's the defence and the goalkeepers. In midfield, we've got Salah, Rodgers, Mbumo, Palmer, and McNeil. So yeah, Salah, I think it's a weird one because obviously he had he got a lot of points and in the last fixture, and it's not even like he did a lot. Like, again, one of them was a penalty, the assist was great, but apart from that, he was a little bit quiet. And a lot of people are now saying it's just one of those situations where all the premium is going to haul at some point. You know, Salah's hauled, Saka's hauled, Palmer's hauled, Haaland's hauled. You can't have them all, and it's just when you like pick and choose which ones to bring in. Obviously, Saka still potentially injured, wasn't seen in training yesterday. We do have Champions League this week, so we'll be able to see if he's obviously fine. But if not, like, you don't really need to go anywhere near Saka, because with Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, it's not like those fixtures are a must for Saka. And over that time, obviously, Salah does have Arsenal away, but you know, they don't have their best four at the back, with Saliba having that red card. You know, Ødegaard's still out, Saka might be out. I think Salah will probably play pretty well against Arsenal. And then he does have Southampton coming up as well, Brighton at home. Just some really nice fixtures for Salah. And again, this is a draft where you are able to fit all 3 of them in, and it doesn't really hurt the draft that much either. I really do like this draft, honestly. I think it's pretty decent to be able to get 3 of those, like 4 big premiums, and obviously no Son in this fixture, in this draft either. But at the end of the day, I think Salah and Palmer are much better options than Son and Saka going forward anyway, in my opinion. But again, a lot of people might be against that idea. But yeah, Salah's in there. Rodgers, again, 5.2 mil, 5.3 mil, whatever it is now. One of the best enablers in the game at this point. I mean, you know, the numbers he's putting up for the price, he is absolute steal. So I feel like he should be in pretty much everybody's team. We've also got Mbumo as well. Again, the fixtures coming up for Brentford are really, really nice. Ipswich at home could even be a captaincy shout this week, obviously. I mean, a lot of people are going to be going Haaland. It makes complete sense. Southampton at home, absolute cricket score you'd expect. But yeah, Mbumo, I think it could still be a little bit of a dark horse for this game week. So yeah, really like him as an option, obviously on penalties, stuff like that. Great option. He's only getting more and more in terms of price rises as well. Palmer's in there as well. I think the worst fixtures out of the way, honestly. I think Newcastle and Man United are good fixtures for Palmer. Arsenal at home, again, not great, but I still think he can do something in there. You know, Arsenal's defensive numbers haven't been ideal. And then after that, I feel like everyone's going to be jumping on Palmer. Game week 12 onwards, the fixtures are just so good. On penalties is the talisman. Chelsea playing really well this season. Really like him as an option. And then also McNeil as well. Fulham at home this week. But yeah, I just think most of Everton's goals are going to come through him, whether it's a goal or an assist. They pick up an assist at the weekend. And yeah, I think for his price, playing in that number 10 role with the fixtures they've got coming up, I just think he's really, really good. I mean, you can always move back onto Semenyo in a couple of weeks after the Bournemouth fixtures get a little bit better. But as of right now, I think McNeil is a really, really good option. So that's the midfield. And then up top, we've got Raul Jimenez, Haaland, and also Strand Larsen as well. So like I say, Raul Jimenez has been so good. It's up for debate whether he's on penalties. Obviously, Andres Pereira took one, missed it. It was a terrible penalty. It wasn't even like a good penalty or anything. So I think that Raul Jimenez will probably be back on them now. I'm surprised he didn't take it because he did win it, but I don't know, maybe they're alternating or something. But either way, Jimenez probably will take the next one. They've got 4 really good fixtures coming up as well in Everton, Brentford, Palace and Wolves. So really like him as an option. Only 5.7 mil. I think he's just better than Calvert-Lewin at the moment, and he's obviously a little bit cheaper as well. Haaland is a no-brainer. Is on the back of 3 blanks, which isn't ideal. But, I mean, if he's going to blank against Southampton at home, then there obviously is an issue. But I think he's going to come good and probably get a hat-trick. He could easily be triple captaincy worthy this week. And I've also gone Strand Larsen as well. I think he's really going under the radar. Obviously picked up 2 goals in his last 2 games. And again, the fixtures for Wolves are really, really good coming up. You wouldn't have to play him this week. Like this week, I'd probably play, if I was going with this draft, I'd probably play Milenkovic, Gvardiol, and probably Vandenberg, just because you have Raul Jimenez playing Everton. So I'd probably do that. And then, obviously, in midfield, I play all 5. And then up top, I'd probably play Raul Jimenez and Haaland. And then next week, you probably play Strand Larsen over Jimenez. Or you could just play all 3. You never know. And then maybe you bench Rodgers, who's got Spurs away. Like I say, they just rotate really, really well, which is why I do quite like this draft. But yeah, I mean, look, all in all, you can't have everyone in. I understand some people will be a little bit of a bit of an eyebrow raise at the Raya pick as well, but I think he's still going to be useful, especially later on down the line when he is sought after again once Arsenal's fixtures pick up and stuff. But again, if you wanted to go someone else, you could go, I don't know, like Pickford. I mean, you already have Mykolenko to cover the Everton defence. You have Vandenberg to cover the Brentford defence, so that's why I wouldn't really go with Pickford and Flecken. So yeah, I mean, the other options, there's not really that many, but either way, I really like this draft. This is what I would go with if I was on a wildcard draft this week. But either way, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment. Are you playing your wildcard draft this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. Let's try and hit 100 likes, and until next time, peace.